Not to either of us, but,
yeah. But yes, it's happening to Janelle.
It's happening to Janelle, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
It's not okay to be happening to Janelle.
It's not okay to be happening to anybody. Like, honestly, I don't understand. I don't understand why people have to just go crazy about somebody. Like, why do people have to have a villain?
Yeah.
Like, why do we have to have a villain? And why do we have to go on the attack?
The fallout from the Sister Wives finale is getting messier by the day, and a bombshell admission from within the family is about to change how you see its entire collapse. We're moving past the edited scenes and into the raw, unfiltered truth about who really pulled the strings. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Let's dive in. So, the season is wrapped, but the drama is absolutely still unfolding. The latest development comes from Meri Brown, who has taken to her social media to defend Janelle Brown in the wake of the finale. Meri's point is that the full story about Janelle's situation was never shown on TV. We only got a tiny, edited glimpse, and she's adamant that no one in this family should be painted as the sole villain. Meri explained during one of her Friday Night with Friends chats that she's speaking up because she's been on the receiving end of intense online hate in the past. She says it caused her immense private pain, fear, and turmoil. Now, she's seeing the same cycle start with Janelle, where public opinion is shifting to label Janelle as the bad guy in certain situations. It's a role she knows all too well. Out of curiosity, I checked Janelle's own social media pages. To be honest, I didn't see a massive flood of negative comments directed at her, nothing compared to what others have received. So, it makes you wonder, is this backlash happening in comment sections on other platforms, or in reaction videos and online forums? It's hard to pinpoint, but Meri clearly feels it's happening somewhere. Now, while I have empathy for anyone facing online cruelty, and no one should ever be sent threats, there's a layer of irony here we can't ignore. This family has chosen to live their lives on a reality TV show for over 15 years. The network, TLC, edits these stories for entertainment. They craft narratives, highlight conflicts, and shape who we sympathize with. That's the nature of the business they've participated in for a decade and a half. The simplest way to stop being a target of edited storylines and public scrutiny would be to step away from the spotlight. To stop monetizing your personal life for entertainment. But they continue on, and in doing so, they accept this unpredictable ripple effect. Having said that, I do agree that the recent wave of criticism towards Janelle wasn't helped by the season's so-called tell-all. Certain information was presented that didn't show her in the most positive light. When that happens, the audience reacts. Then, when other family members like Meri jump in to share their perspectives, it adds more fuel to the fire, dissecting every detail. For instance, this whole situation with a friend of the family, Jen. The story goes that Jen advised Meri to take the money and run, and to leave Cody. This bit of alleged advice became a major plot point. It created a ripple where Janelle, and seemingly Cody, spun a narrative that Jen was a problem, that she was unsafe, that she tried to split Meri from the family and was the reason Meri left. Honestly, looking at it now, why does this even matter? They've all moved on. They're all building separate, happier lives. It feels like a whole lot of drama about nothing at this point. But because it was a focal point of the final episode, it's triggered a new wave of opinions and attacks. And you could argue Janelle didn't exactly help calm the situation. Right after the episode aired where she discussed Jen's alleged advice, Janelle posted a pointed message on her own platform. She wrote, "I never tell women what decision to make," and went on to say that advice is temporary, but self-trust is what truly carries you forward. She emphasized that her role is to help women hear their own thoughts clearly, not to tell them what to do. The timing of that post was interesting to say the least. Was it a subtle dig at Jen for giving direct advice? It's hard not to see the connection. But here's the contradiction. This stance feels a bit false. Because for years, Janelle did give Christine very direct advice. She famously advised Christine to get her finances in order before leaving Cody. That is literally telling someone what strategic steps to take in a major life decision. So, there's a clear double standard. Jen supposedly gives Meri advice to leave equals problem. Janelle gives Christine advice to prepare to leave equals supportive sister wife. The common thread? Both pieces of advice were about leaving a painful situation. Personally, I don't think advising someone to leave a dynamic that is causing them unhappiness is a bad thing. In fact, in this specific family structure, which has caused so much public pain, it might be the most helpful thing one friend could say to another. This post-episode chaos is where things get even more revealing. Because while the adults were navigating this, one of the adult children, Mykelti Brown, was sharing insights on her private Patreon page. And what she and her husband Tony revealed pulls back the curtain on the family's deepest, most misunderstood secrets, starting with a story we all thought we knew: the catfishing scandal. What's become painfully clear is that the children in this family have been kept in the dark about the truth of that event for years. To this day, many of them, based on what they were told by their own mothers, Christine, Janelle, and even Robyn, still refer to what happened to Mary as an affair. Tony Padron, Mykelti's husband, has even used that term. The internalized misogyny in that label is staggering. Let's break this down. Even if you want to use the harshest terminology, calling it an affair sets up a brutal double standard. Mary was emotionally starved and isolated in a marriage where her husband was romantically and intimately involved with 3 other women. She sought connection and was lured in by a malicious predator, a female catfisher posing as a man. There was no physical relationship. There was no real man. It was a scam, and Mary was a victim. Yet the narrative in the family became that she cheated. Cody, who had full freedom to be with other partners, effectively ended his relationship with Mary over this. But Mary was expected to remain loyal while he distributed his time and affection elsewhere. The message is clear: he is allowed autonomy. She is treated as property. Perpetuating the affair story reinforces this toxic, cult-like control over women in polygamous systems. It's a tool to shame and control, and it's heartbreaking to see the kids unintentionally carrying that torch. But here's the real bomb that Mykelti and Tony dropped: a piece of the catfish puzzle that was completely hidden from them and from us. They had zero idea about Robyn's alleged involvement in the entire situation. According to this new information, the catfisher, that persona, was active in a specific Facebook group. And who else was in that group? Robyn Brown and her friend, Kendra. Not only was Robyn reportedly following the catfisher's activity, but Kendra was allegedly communicating directly with the catfisher on Robyn's behalf. Let that sink in. This suggests a level of knowledge and proximity to the situation that completely reframes those years of scandal. While Mykelti and Tony couldn't answer all questions about the catfish saga due to their own lack of knowledge, this revelation opened the door for them to speak more freely about Robyn's overall role in the family's unraveling. And Mykelti's perspective is shifting notably. She claims that she doesn't believe Robyn joined the family with the explicit, malicious intent to destroy it. Her take is that Robyn simply found her soulmate in Cody. Mykelti tries to give Robyn the benefit of the doubt, stating she doesn't believe Robyn is an evil person at her core. She acknowledges Robyn has made major mistakes, betrayed trusts, and done things that were not okay, but draws a line at calling her purposefully malicious, at least in terms of deliberately setting Mary up for failure with the catfish. However, and this is a huge however, Mykelti immediately follows this by stating facts that contradict that generous view. She admits she already knows Robyn had a pattern of behavior. She knew Robyn would take information shared with her in confidence by the other wives, Christine, Janelle, Mary, and leak it back to Cody. Because of that established pattern, Mykelti says point-blank, "We know that she is not to be trusted." This is the crucial key to understanding the family's power collapse. In a polygamous structure like theirs, especially after they left their formal church and became their own isolated unit, information is the ultimate currency. Cody could not be physically and emotionally present with all 4 wives at all times. To maintain control, he relied on a system of reporting. He needed insiders, his eyes and ears, to keep him informed of dynamics, conversations, and conflicts happening in his absence. This is a classic control tactic seen in high-control groups and cults. Members who provide information, the tattletales, are often rewarded with favor, resources, and a stronger standing with the leader. In this family, the wives were constantly vying for limited resources, time, affection, financial security, and spiritual standing. By becoming Cody's primary informant, Robyn was trading in the most valuable currency she had: secrets. This context changes everything. Mykelti might want to believe Robyn's intentions were initially sincere, that she joined believing in the principle of plural marriage. But her actions tell a different story. If Robyn truly wanted to be a harmonious plural wife, she would have worked to build bridges between the women and her husband, not become a conduit for gossip and conflict. She would have tried to integrate, rather than consistently claim she was being excluded while simultaneously avoiding deeper integration. My personal observation has always been that Robyn never truly acted like someone who wanted plural marriage. Her actions resemble someone who wanted a monogamous relationship with Cody but had to navigate a polygamous structure to get it. When that's your goal, your behavior changes. You play games. You make alliances to gather information. You strategically share that information to make others look bad and yourself look loyal. You drive wedges between your partner and his other relationships. You create a you and me against the world bond. This is exactly the pattern Mykelti describes, even as she hesitates to label the intent. Robyn had loose lips. She was not the family's moral compass. Mykelti thinks Robyn's initial intentions might have been sincere, but that the manipulation got created over time. The critical insight Mykelti offers is this: Robyn fell head over heels in love with Cody as a soulmate, in a way the other wives perhaps did not. That deep, exclusive romantic connection changed the game. In a healthy polygamous model, in theory, you don't join to be the top-tier, number one soulmate. You join to be part of a shared family unit. But if you join and believe you've found a singular, soulmate connection with a husband, the entire dynamic is poisoned from within. You will inevitably, whether consciously or subconsciously, work to protect and elevate that primary bond above all other family bonds. You will see the other wives not as sisters, but as threats to your supreme connection. Mykelti seems to acknowledge this inherent conflict. She says Robyn inadvertently wanted to make sure that her relationship with my dad was top tier. The key word is inadvertently. She may not have had a master plan, but her actions, driven by that soulmate mentality, systematically ensured her relationship was prioritized. And as Mykelti notes, it ended up obviously worked in her favor for the other relationships to deteriorate. This brings us to the devastating conclusion of Mykelti's analysis, the part where she connects the dots to the family's destruction. She is in a process of deconstructing her own upbringing and is no longer in regular contact with Robyn or Cody. From this more distant perspective, she can see the mechanism clearly. If Robyn truly valued the plural family, she would not have become the central intermediary or tattletale. She would not have constantly run back to Cody when Mary, Christine, or Janelle confided in her. Yet, all the wives have hinted at this on the show. Janelle once described a fight that erupted on a birthday trip because she brought up something she'd only told Robyn, and the only way Cody could have known was if Robyn told him. This pattern of confidential sharing followed by Cody's confrontational anger created a climate of fear and distrust. The wives learned they could not safely confide in Robyn, and by extension, they began to feel they couldn't safely confide in Cody because anything said would be filtered through Robyn's perspective and used against them. It eroded the very foundation of their individual marriages. As Mykelti puts it, Robyn's actions, reporting back, framing conversations, driving wedges, made Cody believe the other wives were out to get Robyn and that conflicts were never her fault. This is classic triangulation. Furthermore, Mykelti hints that Robyn would use the ultimate threat, implying she would leave Cody if he didn't prioritize her and her children over the others. We've seen shades of this, like in the Coyote Pass property negotiations where legal threats were made about partnering with Janelle. So, while Mykelti doesn't say it in a sensational, finger-pointing way, her logical breakdown leads to one inescapable conclusion: Robyn's manipulation, rooted in her desire for a monogamous-style soulmate bond within a polygamous structure, is what ultimately dismantled the family. She removed her competition not through outright evil, but through a slow, strategic process of information control, emotional manipulation, and loyalty tests. She created conflicts, fed Cody's paranoia and favoritism, and then positioned herself as his only safe haven. When the other wives, suffocated by this toxic dynamic and Cody's resulting neglect, finally left, they weren't just leaving Cody. They were escaping a system where one wife held all the informational power and used it to undermine them. Robyn got what, deep down, she may have always wanted: Cody to herself. And Cody, whose own narcissism and need for a loyal informant blinded him, is now left with a partner who helped isolate him. It's a tragic, fascinating, and brutally honest assessment from someone who lived it. It's not about cartoonish villainy. It's about the slow, corrosive power of selfishness within a system that demands selflessness. It's about how wanting to be a soulmate in a structure designed to prevent exactly that can tear everything apart. So, what do you think? After hearing this breakdown of Mykelti's revelations and the patterns of behavior, do you believe Robyn's actions, intentionally or not, were the primary catalyst for the family's collapse? Was she working a long game, or was she simply protecting a bond she couldn't help but prioritize? Does this change how you see the entire Sister Wives story? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. This is a complex one, so let's have a respectful discussion. If this deep dive into the unseen dynamics of the family resonated with you, or if you were shocked by these new details, please let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We're always breaking down the latest tea, the hidden patterns, and the real stories behind your favorite reality TV families. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.